Tariffs and inflation, that's all the market cares about. Well, is this another buy the dip scenario, or is this the beginning of another big sell off in the market? Obviously, another thing we want to point out with you today is this is very similar to what we have seen back in August 2024, the very big sell off, also a 10% dip. Okay, but what's different than what we had versus what it was before is that we were not taking out the 200 days moving average, but this time we did. And well, funny enough, we rejected the 200 days moving average on the S&P. So what does that tell us? So the last time we had this, we had a big bounce, followed by a smaller bounce, obviously some rejection as well. And the very next day, we had a very weak sell. That is telling you, okay, the sellers are gone, right? If there's no selling in the market, it would just be buying back up. That's just how the market works. So when you see this, a lot of people are panicking and say, okay, the volume is on the decline. Yes, RSI hit 30 just like what we did before, and then we tick up very dramatically. That like also what we see here, a very nice tick, and also closing above the moving average on RSI. Now you're seeing this rejection on the 200 days moving average, and you're also in this downward channel in the super trend indicator. This one right here, if you're interested to know what indicator I'm using, comment down below. And yeah, so you shouldn't be discounting the fact that this can indeed potentially be the bottom of the market, because you see a lot of headline, very negative, a lot of fear in the market, but we are yet to see the effect and impact of these tariffs, right? We're seeing them, we're hearing about them, but we are still waiting for those inflation numbers to come back. And obviously, a lot of rumor going around in the market that Trump is, well, intentionally designing for a market crash, for another way to rescue the national debt for the US economy. Well, while that may be the case, we're just not seeing enough data to support that thesis. What we can have right now is obviously just the price action, and the price action is not, it's not great. But look at this. Yes, we are buying back, and two straight sessions of gains, right? That is not terrible. So what we will be waiting for right now is another sell signal. We want to see the weakening in selling pressure, because if there's so much bears in the market right now, this will be where they want to short the market, rejecting on the 200 days moving average and decreasing volume on the upside. If they cannot push it down further, if they cannot, let's say today we see a red candle here, but the volume is very weak, and we're still managing to defend some major level, say 560, or maybe somewhere even above it. Then that would be another ultimate signal for the bulls to say, okay, the bears have left the party. Okay, now this is where we can go long, and if we can defend 200 days moving average and have another retest, may that be one time or two times, if we can still defend 200 days moving average, I do see this market going higher from there. That is by no means to say we are seeing all-time high. I don't think that's the case, but some bounce can be happening if this scenario does play out. Now, also wanted to look at some individual stocks. Micron, I notified this trade on X, and the reason I was looking at this is simply, let me remove this. You see a lot of signal here, right? We use this super trend indicator, so when we turns green, that's a pretty good signal to go low. But with that indicator alone, it's not enough, because what we always said, we want to wait for weakening in selling pressure to determine that there's no more sellers in the market, then it would just naturally be picking back up. So Yeah, these are all very nice signals. But the reason I didn't really go long over here is because you look at this purple line, this moving average on the 15-minute time frame. Well, we are not above it. Yeah, this would be a fail signal. If you trade it here, obviously have your stop loss accordingly. But when I really talked about this trade is when clearly we are making higher highs and higher lows over here. The lows have been bought up and another low being formed. This is another low, just happened right on this moving averages. And boom, right? And now we are finally above this purple line. So what you're waiting for is, so this on Thursday was when I notified the trade because we want to see more confirmation that there are more buyers accumulating shares in this name. So the first signal you get is this green area super trend. The second evidence you're looking for is this purple moving average. And then this can still be fake, a fake up. But look at this. The lows have been accumulating. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Even though it's not very noticeable for the higher highs, that's why we needed more evidence. And the last piece of evidence we needed was this one, right? We took out the previous low, but we are finding support above the first low we had on Wednesday. So, boom, look at this. And then weakening selling pressure right here on this candle. You had your super trend, you had your lows being formed, being supported, and also another weakening in selling pressure after higher highs and higher lows in the last couple of days. That's when you go low, right? And scalping it, or maybe doing a little bit of swing trading, however contracts that you want to play with. Make sure it's at least 1 week out in expiration on the call option. And then obviously this is still not any cause for concern because we're still holding the lows. And then the next day, another day, Micron has been pretty amazing. This is not where I would still continue to be adding to Micron just because RSI is at a very, well, it's peaking actually. And if we want to go over to hourly time frame, whenever we see this super trend on hourly in the green, that's a pretty good sign. Um, but yeah, this has been pretty extended. I wouldn't be adding shares here. And we also want to look at daily, right? So daily is not really a super trend that you can be looking at for this name, just because every time we hit into the green area, we got beaten down, right? Micron, this is the longest period of consolidation I have ever seen on any stock, right? This is just not great. But if you missed a chance, that's okay. Just make sure this is a very replicable setup that you can always take when you see these kind of actions, lower highs and lower lows, and above these moving averages and weakening selling pressure, and then trading within this super trend area. That would be pretty nice. Another name I wanted to take a look at, Novartis. I've been in the trade. I actually got in over here, and the reason I did was because it was actually a very good day. It had no reason for Novartis to open as low as it did. Okay, and this is what? This is the support level. Now, this is not where you would want to add because potentially this can be a head and shoulder. Just want to show you how you could play this. Very nice support zone. Just buy it. And obviously, this gap up was not something that I even imagined would happen, but very nice. So right now, if we want to wait for a confirmation to say that this is not a head and shoulder, this is something better. And because we are forming these higher highs and higher lows, right? If you can see that, um, want to make sure this is not head and shoulder. You want to wait for some selling signal. Obviously, this volume has been monster. You want to wait for maybe higher highs and higher lows, but closing out in red, and followed by another red candle, still closing about 20 days moving average with even lower volume than the previous one, then you can consider going low. And then this name can potentially, I do think this name can hit all-time high pretty soon. Another name I wanted to talk about in the semi space is ASML. Clearly, we are closing above two major moving averages on the daily. This is great because not a lot of stocks in the tech sector are performing as well as ASML. If you're looking at the weekly, while this is not the strongest, but last week it was actually pretty good, even though lower highs and lower lows. But we clearly closed and found support above 200 weekly moving average, and the volume has been also very nice. And if you are going over to the daily, this is just looking very nice. But we want to look at smaller time frame because this market has been. So I wanted to show you another indicator. Um, because the expectation for the market in 2025 is whenever there's an uptrend, just expect it to last a little bit longer. Whenever there's a little downtrend, you have to also have the same kind of expectation because it's very easy to have the broader market indices to be going up 1% in any day, also be going down to 1% or even 2% on any given day. So whenever you have this super trend indicator, it just very reliable because it's not choppy. If you're looking at higher time frame, maybe 3 days, 5 days, it can be choppy. But if you're looking at it from a 2 hour to 4 hours kind of point of view, it's always going to be trending very, very hard and very, very noticeable. Just looking at this, if you're looking at obviously the same way we were looking at Micron closing above the purple line and then in the market bias, clearly this is higher highs and higher lows, right? First low, second low, third, fourth. There is your higher highs and higher lows. From deep red below all the moving averages to finally testing this purple line, get it down here. Very nice gap up. Now we have all our confirmation. Weakening in selling, you didn't do it, that's okay. Wait for another green candle and weakening in selling, this is where you go low, right? Just wanted to show you how you can be playing these charts. Just set your alert on your super trend and go, hey, super trend buy, let me know when it happens. And then when it does happen, it gives you alert. I'm just gonna assume that all of you also use TradingView. Um, and then you wait for this confirmation to make sure that the trend is up and buyers are accumulating at this stage. Okay, and yeah, other than Novartis, some of our favorite healthcare name, also wanted to take a look at, also very replicable, right? Like if you're looking at this, weekly, I didn't want to go into weekly. This is the best setup. If you've been following along, I like this kind of higher highs and higher lows and lower volume on the weekly chart. And yeah, sure enough, on Monday the trading was also pretty nice. Yeah, the chart is a little lagging. Yeah, trading above 20 days moving average. This is looking very nice. Also on 15-minute time frame, this is also what we've been talking about, higher highs and higher lows, and with all our confirmation. Okay, so that is all for today. And once again, make sure you know that this is not any financial advice. I'm just providing you with what I'm seeing in the market. Please make sure you are taking risk responsibly and always be controlling your risk, controlling your downside, hedge it if you have to, and control your sizing because again, this market in 2025 is always swinging so hard from whatever direction, always 1 to 2% move on the major indices. So make sure you have your stop loss ready and just consider this is just an educational piece. And if you're enjoying the channel so far, make sure you drop a like and I will give you another update pretty soon. Until then, happy trading. Bye for now.